get to know you and help make sure you have all the right coverages. Plus, when you bundle your coverage for your car and your home with your boat, motorcycle, RV, or more, you can save up to 30%. So call the McDonald Allstate Agency today at 622-2333 or stop by one of our 2 Ocala locations at Calla Hills or the Jasmine Square Plaza.
Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Savings vary.
WOCA.
25 minutes before 8 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in to The Source, WOCA. It is September 8th, and gosh, we got a bunch of different things we want to show you, talk to you about. There are some opinions associated with some of these things. You are welcome to call in and share yours with us, your opinion. It's 74 degrees. No opinion there necessary. All right, let's see. Where do we start? We'll start with the Kim Davis story. Kim Davis, the Kentucky clerk who is behind bars for refusing to issue same-sex marriage licenses, gets a high-profile visitor today. Republican presidential candidate Mike Huckabee will stop by the jail where she's being held for contempt of court. Afterwards, he'll hold an I'm with Kim Liberty rally. Hashtag I'm with Kim, I guess. There will be a lot of traffic, but Kentucky's school children aren't complaining. 5 schools in the area where the jail is located will be closed for the day just to cut down on congestion.
Oh, my. The children are suffering.
Now, I put yourself in Kim Davis's position. Okay, and just for the sake of this discussion, you are opposed to gay marriage, and you're the one who signs the certificate. Forget whatever I mean, I believe that the states shouldn't even have anything to do with marriages. It should be a church thing. But, you know, I guess, or if you don't believe in God and you want to go to a notary public, I guess you could do that too. But I think you should have the right to make that decision. But that's me, and obviously the courts disagree with me. So since the courts disagree with me, if I were Kim Davis and I was in that position, and I need my job, I don't think I would have quit my job, but I think I would have put in my resignation, which is kind of the same thing. In other words, I wouldn't have walked out. I would have said, well, I'm going to do what you're asking me to do because it's the law. I have to do it, but I don't want to work here anymore. And I can give you an example of how that actually applied to me. We had a couple of times early in my radio days when I was asked to interview people who were selling products that were so dopey. The one that I always remember the most was the guy who was selling bath oil that he said would cure Alzheimer's disease.
Yeah.
And I said, I am not interviewing him because he's paying for the spot, and as a paying sponsor, I'm obligated to let him talk without challenging him. Because my job is to allow him to get his word out, and I'm just a mouthpiece. Well, I am not going to be a mouthpiece. I have an audience who has come to understand that I'm not going to pull one over on them or allow somebody else to pull one over on them. There's no way, if you have a bath oil that can cure Alzheimer's disease, that you should be sitting in a radio station anyway. What you should do is go to the the nursing homes.
Right.
And say, here you go, here. I would be Johnny Appleseed with this stuff if I had it.
Exactly.
If it was real.
Exactly.
And so I didn't do it. And I was thinking, okay, if this is what being a talk show host is in the small time radio world, then I'm done. I thought it was going to be something where you could be honest and upfront. And the good news is the end of this story was that is what it ended up to be, but only because I was a little bit resistant to it.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not going to do it. They got some other schlemiel to do it.
Yep, they got him to do it.
But anyway, so if I was in her position, I would not have caused myself to be put in jail. Come on. Who would want that? Now, I'm not saying she didn't do a brave thing. I'm all power to her or whatever. But, you know, you got a family to raise. You got food to put on the table. You know, people need you. You know, this is a game they're playing anyway. You're not going to make me a pawn in your game.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
So that's anyway.
That's right. She should have just...
Another story in the news we can comment on. You're welcome to comment on any of these, by the way. I don't have one that I'm focusing on today. I'm just bringing a bunch to the table. The times, they are a-changing. Pope Francis keeps adding to resume shaking up the Catholic Church. He's expected to announce reforms today that will change the way Catholics may annul their marriages. Reading between the lines, the process may become simpler and less time-consuming. In the United States, 28% of Catholic marriages end in divorce.
Yeah, it's a tricky thing
If
there.
you have
It's
an
hard
opinion
to
about
do.
that, you can call in. Here's another story. Tempers flared along the country of Hungary's border with Serbia as migrants grew tired of living in primitive conditions. They are required to register as refugees before continuing their journeys. But the transit camp where they're staying has little to offer in the way of services or food. The frustration fuels their discontent.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I mean, everybody leaves and then they expect everybody else to welcome them, which they do, but there's only a limited number of resources. It's really, I mean, get rid of those bad guys and then you won't have this problem.
Okay. The next story you can call in and express an opinion on. And by the way, you can go back to the stories we've passed. This half hour is all about opinions. Democratic presidential frontrunner Hillary Clinton might be worried about maintaining that status, asking attendees at a Cleveland, Ohio event to sign a loyalty pledge before being allowed to enter.
Oh my gosh. She's shooting herself.
The
in
report
foot.
on Twitter says, here's the pledge. I, fill in the blank, commit to vote for Hillary Clinton. Below that is a list of volunteer opportunities with checkboxes. They include collect signatures, host a grassroots fundraiser. Wow. So she's asking them to promise to vote for her.
But to work on her behalf, too.
Yeah.
Work for her. She
By the
won't
way, here's
do
some things
anything
you
but
can do
show
to
up.
help me become the president.
That's right. All I'll do, I'll show up and speak at your event, but you do the work.
Good morning. You're on the air. I thought I had somebody. All right. Next story is from Chelsea Clinton. Critics of the United Nations can find heartening news in a batch of Hillary Clinton emails released on August 31st. Chelsea Clinton is not singing the UN's praises either. Paul Bonicelli at The Federalist writes on an email sent by Chelsea to her parents after visiting Haiti to observe the organization's earthquake relief efforts 5 years ago, and she was not impressed. Chelsea Clinton told her parents in the email, the incompetence is mind-numbing. Her mother was Secretary of State, and her father, Bill Clinton, was the UN Special Envoy to Haiti at the same time. The former first daughter goes on to say the Haitians are unhappy with the UN's efforts and would rather have their own people uniformed and patrolling at night, or the U.S. military. That underscores what the Clintons and the Democratic Party should understand, Bonicelli says. The United States or any other Western nation should be leading relief efforts that the United Nations currently handles. The fact that Chelsea Clinton, who was reared by two of the UN's biggest fans, is disgusted should give conservatives ammunition when international organizations are touted in the future, he writes. Anyway, do have a phone call, I think. Good morning, you're on the air.
Morning, guys.
Hey, Hugh.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Oh, pretty good. I had a great weekend. See, I think everybody should be giving Germany a lot of credit for taking on those refugees. If that wouldn't have happened, I don't know what would have happened. It would have been one heck of a mess, and it probably would have involved us more, and I think we should get involved up to a certain extent. But Germany being the number one country in Europe as far as wealth and everything else, I would imagine, too, that they could probably use a lot of good people to work their factories and their industry and stuff. So in a way, it's probably helping them. But in a way, thank God that at least Germany came through with accepting them. And I think England's talking about it, but France and the other countries are, I don't know, they just don't seem to want to get involved.
Okay, thank you for your thoughts on that. What did I see on France? Thank you, Hugh. Appreciate that. There was a story from France. Let me get to the immigrant thing in a second, or the refugee thing. France is preparing to bomb ISIS.
Oh, good for them.
In northern Syria. France will today begin reconnaissance flights over territory held by Islamic State, ISIS, in other words, in northern Syria with a view to subsequent bombing raids. President Francois Hollande announced at a press conference yesterday.
Yeah, they're not going to take it anymore. I mean, the U.S. is sitting here not doing anything.
So
France is stepping up to the plate.
So they're the the folks are leaving these areas because of ISIS
Right.
and others like them. France and the United Kingdom pledged to accept 44,000 migrants. By the way, just to throw that into the mix.
Yeah. See that? The U.S. isn't doing
France
the
and
darn
Britain.
thing.
France and Britain yesterday offered to haven to a combined 44,000 migrants. The latest efforts by Europe to cope with its worst migration crisis since World War II. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. It'll be partly sunny today. Watch out for a thunderstorm or two during the afternoon and evening hours. The high today 88 to 92. And partly cloudy overnight, low 72 to 76. For tomorrow, sunshine mixing with clouds, a shower and thunderstorm in the area during the afternoon and evening hours. High tomorrow 89 to 93. Thursday, partly sunny with a shower or thunderstorm mainly in the afternoon. The high again 89 to 93. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
If you're anything like I was, the thought of getting older was the last thing on your mind. But here we are. For me, it started slowly. The lack of energy, never being in the mood. And when I was, I could never perform at my best. I tried the pills and other treatments with minimal results, and all but given up on my sex life. Then I found the doctors at New Male Medical Center. Wow, they made a new male out of me. Feel like I'm 25 again. I have renewed vigor, so much more energy, and no longer worry about my performance. New Male treated me like my situation was one of a kind, with a custom treatment plan that really works. I feel great. They can create one for you too. It does not matter if you suffer from low testosterone, erectile dysfunction, or just want to last longer. New Male will help you.
Call New Male Medical Center today at 352-404-4779. 352-404-4779. That's 352-404-4779. It will change your life. 352-404-4779.
This weather is brought to you by your local Safeway water dealer, who would like to remind you to drink plenty of water each day to keep the doctor away.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. It'll be partly sunny today. Watch out for a thunderstorm or two during the afternoon and evening hours. The high today 88 to 92. And partly cloudy overnight, low 72 to 76. For tomorrow, sunshine mixing with clouds, a shower and thunderstorm in the area during the afternoon and evening hours. High tomorrow 89 to 93. Thursday, partly sunny with a shower or thunderstorm mainly in the afternoon. The high again 89 to 93. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Stay informed on everything going on in the Villages with the Village Spectator newspaper. The Village Spectator is exclusively devoted to the Villages with news, commentary, and more. And yes, they have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask is that you tell them where you heard about them. Call Tom's Picks at 804-1223 and pick up your copy of the Village Spectator today.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
12 minutes before 8 o'clock. Nice looking Tuesday morning. First day back to school and work for many of you. 75 degrees right now. The forecast here in Ocala is a 60% chance of rain. No, I hope so. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't refresh the page.
Oh, okay.
The page needs to be refreshed. It's an 80% chance of rain. I knew it went up.
Okay.
80% chance of rain. So there you go. High temperatures around 90 degrees today.
Nice.
All right. So we were talking, this whole half hour is just kind of a mix of different news stories, and your opinions are as important as anybody's. And if you'd like to call in to express those opinions, it's the number 622-9622. So Hugh called in and he was talking about how Germany is stepping up to the plate to accept migrants fleeing the atrocities of ISIS.
Yeah.
France and Britain yesterday offered haven to a combined 44,000 migrants, the latest efforts by Europe to cope with its worst migration crisis since World War II. French President Francis Hollande said that in accepting 24,000 migrants, France had a duty to help people who are fleeing war, and that he and German Chancellor Angela Merkel had agreed on a system to more equally spread the load. Hollande said Germany, which is taking the most immigrants, should not shoulder the entire burden for addressing the problem. British Prime Minister David Cameron told Parliament yesterday that they had a moral responsibility to take in 20,000 of those fleeing oppression, and said children and orphans will be given priority. That, according to the Associated Press. Just to kind of fill in the blanks there. Mm-hmm. The twin announcements follow a pledge of $6.6 billion made by Germany late Sunday night to care for hundreds of thousands entering the country. The aid package will provide asylum seekers improved housing, language courses, and enhanced security. And on top of that, France has announced that they will start bombing the locations that are now occupied by ISIS.
There you go.
Good morning. You're on the air. What do you think?
I think that sounds like a good plan.
Yes.
Rescue the people and get rid of the bad guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
And hey, I was calling about the woman who's the clerk that didn't want to sign the gay marriage license.
Oh, Kim
and then
Davis.
She was arrested.
Right.
Yeah. You know, the only problem I have with her is that when you're sworn into office, you might not like what you have to do. Like if you're a judge, and you might have to abide by the rules and, give somebody the minimum sentence when it's borderline. You think, gosh, I hate to do this to this person. But you're sworn into office. You're supposed to do your duty. And if her duty is to sign the marriage license, she might not like the law, but she has to follow the law. But she took that oath.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I'm not against her belief. She has a right as a Christian to believe what she wants, but you still, when you get into office and the people voted you in there, you have to honor your pledge.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Or quit.
Exactly. Or quit.
I think resign. Quitting means walking off the job.
Right.
Resigning means I'm going to give you 2 months notice and I'll be out in here in 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have respected her for that because her beliefs were so strong she couldn't do that job. And then you walk away with honor and dignity, not just I'm going to be a stubborn here and I'm not doing it. So, but that was just my thought.
Yeah. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you for that. So and she is in a public position, and yes, it's hard to disagree with that. Where I do have an issue is when bakeries and private businesses have lawsuits filed against them that are seriously considered because they won't make a cake or do a flower arrangement. It's to me, they should have a right to say no. We're not going to do that. It's a private business,
right. Exactly, but when government, no, you know what you're getting into.
Okay. All right. Your opinions are what this is about. I want to encourage you to call in if you have something you want to say. You can disagree with us. You can disagree with other callers. You can disagree with the whatever we're talking about. Or here's another story that you might have an opinion about. Army Sergeant Bo Bergdahl faces a possible life sentence after military prosecutors reached back into a section of military law seldom used since World War II to charge him with misbehavior before the enemy in addition to desertion. Bergdahl, just to refresh your memory, is the soldier that was held prisoner for years by the Taliban after leaving his post in Afghanistan. And he could face a life sentence if convicted of the added charge which accuses him of endangering fellow soldiers when he left without authority and wrongfully caused search and recovery operations.
Oh, yes.
The desertion charge in this case only carries a maximum sentence of 5 years in prison.
Mm-hmm.
Observers of the politically fraught case against Bergdahl had wondered for months if he would be charged with desertion after the deal brokered by President Obama to bring him home. Now he is charged with both desertion and misbehavior before the enemy, which is akin to being a traitor. I have never heard it charged, said retired Major General Walter Huffman, who served as the Army's top lawyer. He said, I never heard of that charge. It's not something you find in common everyday practice in the military. Huffman and others say the misbehavior charge allows authorities to allege that Bergdahl not only left his unit with one less soldier, but that his deliberate action put soldiers who searched for him in harm's way. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked about this when it happened.
Yeah.
Lawrence Morris, a retired Army colonel who served as the branch's top prosecutor and top public defender, says, quote, you're able to say that what he did had a particular impact or put particular people at risk. It is less generic than just quitting, unquote. Mm-hmm. The Obama administration has been criticized both for agreeing to release 5 Taliban operatives from the Guantanamo Bay prison and for heralding Bergdahl's return to the United States with an announcement in the White House Rose Garden. The administration stood by the way it secured his release after the charges were announced. The military has scheduled an initial court appearance known as an Article 32 hearing for Bergdahl on September 17th at Fort Sam Houston in Texas. The proceeding is similar to a civilian grand jury, and afterward the case could be referred to a court-martial and go to trial.
Gosh.
So what do you think? You think he should be in prison for the rest of his life for doing what he did?
With that evidence, yes, because he did put people in harm's way.
Misbehavior before the enemy was used hundreds of times during World War II, it says. But scholars say its use appears to have dwindled in conflicts since then. Misbehavior before the enemy cases were tried at least 494 times for soldiers in Europe between 1942 and 1945. Wow. Legal databases and media accounts turn up only a few misbehavior cases since 2001, when fighting began in Afghanistan, followed by Iraq less than 2 years later. By contrast, statistics show the U.S. Army prosecuted about 1,900 desertion cases between 2001 and the end of 2014.
Yeah, but they didn't put anybody, I guess most of them didn't put our soldiers and stuff in harm's way to when they went to go get them and everything. But this guy, he did.
Good morning. You're on the air. What do you think?
Good morning. Well, I think he should be charged. I mean, you need certain standards, especially, when you're putting somebody else's life in danger. Your son might not have come home. My son might not have come home because of someone like that.
Right.
That's like, a police officer and his buddy's there, and they're in a firefight, and he drops his gun and runs away, and his partner gets killed. I mean, there has to be some kind of standards, some kind of accountability. Or like a surgeon starting to do surgery on you, and he gets scared and leaves you open in the, operating table. There has to be some kind of standards. A lot of guys and women go into the military thinking they're just going to get college money and get out. But you have to really realize that, hey, when you go in there, the chances are you might have to go to war and you might have to do things that you don't want to do. But that's all part of what you need to read the fine print before you go into something. And, if you care about this country, you stand by the country.
There you go. Can't argue with that. I never heard of this.
Have a good day.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I never heard of this charge, misbehavior before the enemy.
No.
But then again, I don't pay attention to a whole lot of this stuff. But so that's the charge. That's the charge that could get him life in prison.
And I don't recall hearing that about, in our history books for World War II, even anybody discussing it. So, but that's a valid charge, I feel.
So here's where you would find it, those of you who like this kind of stuff. The misbehavior charge is in Article 99 of the Military Justice Code, which is best known for its use to prosecute cases of cowardice. However, Article 99 encompasses 9 different offenses, including several not necessarily motivated by cowardice, such as causing a false alarm or endangering one's unit, which is the charge that Bergdahl faces.
Oh, yes. Yeah, because everybody's over there. They're all a tight-knit group. They look out for one another, and then if one person decides to leave, they're going to try to bring him home at risk to their own selves. Like the gentleman pointed out, they could have died.
So here's one charge recently. Recent prosecutions under the misbehavior charge include a Marine Lance Corporal who pleaded guilty after refusing to provide security for a convoy leaving a base in Iraq in 2004. Also, a soldier in Iraq was charged with cowardice in 2003 under Article 99 after he saw a mangled body and sought counseling, but the charges were later dropped. The specification that Bergdahl faces appears in the 1971 case of an Army captain accused of endangering a base in Vietnam by disobeying an order to establish an ambush position. The captain was found guilty of other charges, including dereliction of duty.
Gosh.
Another case cited in a 1955 military law journal says an Army corporal was convicted under Article 99 of endangering his unit in Korea by getting drunk on duty.
Oh.
The article says he became so drunk that it took the tank company commander 30 minutes to wake him up.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
Oh, my gosh.
For Bergdahl, though, and I think the caller and you, Robin, said it best, that this I mean, getting drunk is not the same thing as leaving and purposefully putting everybody in harm's way.
Exactly. Thank you, caller, for that.
For Bergdahl, the Article 99 offense allows the prosecutors to seek a stiffer penalty than the desertion charge, and life in prison could be the end result. Wow, that's what he's facing. All right, we'll take a little break. We'll be right back. This is WOCA Ocala.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. Congress back from a month-long recess today to face a number of pressing issues.
The House and Senate could vote as soon as this week on a so-called resolution of disapproval, giving the thumbs down to the Iran nuclear deal. Republicans like Senator Ted Cruz, who's also running for president, are concerned about what Iran will do with the sanctions relief that's part of the agreement.
Fox Radio's Rachel Sutherland. Cruz believes that much of that money will be passed on
to Hamas, to Hezbollah, to the Houthis, to other radical Islamic terrorists.
If passed, the resolution faces a sure veto.
The president has enough votes to sustain a veto. Presidential candidate Mike Huckabee joining protesters rallying in support of the Kentucky clerk jailed for refusing to issue marriage licenses to gay couples, and radical reforms for annulling marriages from Pope Francis, who's allowing the Catholic Church to fast-track decisions and remove automatic appeals. Fox News, we report, you decide.
There's more to Fox News Radio than meets the ear. Go behind the headlines and join the conversation on the hottest stories of the day on the Fox News Radio Facebook page. Be a part of the Fox News Radio Facebook fan community. Post comments and tell us your opinions. See behind-the-scenes photos and videos and post your reactions to the stories that matter to you. Click the like button on Facebook and connect with breaking news and features like Fox in the Fast Lane, House Call for Help, and more. Go to Facebook.com/Fox News Radio.
Weeknights, we're busting out a brand new lineup. First, market fraud, government abuse, corruption. At 5, nothing's off limits on money with Melissa Francis. Then, from bloated bank fees to consumer scams. At 6, Jerry's exposing the issues impacting your wallet. Plus, get smart market insight and trusted analysis you won't find anywhere else. At 7, Lou Dobbs is all business. And the first and last name in business, Cavuto. Shedding light on the biggest stories making headlines at 8. Only on the Fox Business Network, giving you the power to prosper.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Chip, I know we made believers out of those who thought there was no such thing as a free ride. No interest on most new Fords for 72 months? Well, Ford Lincoln of Ocala and Village Ford of Bellevue is sweetening that terrific deal even more.
Really?
How about free fuel for a year?
Free fuel for a year?
Simply visit FordofOcala.com or MyVillageFord.com, schedule a test drive of any vehicle on the lot, and you become automatically eligible to be chosen to receive free fuel for a year.
That's just another great reason to shop for your next car, truck, SUV, or crossover at Ford Lincoln of Ocala or Village Ford of Bellevue.
Aside from being eligible to receive free fuel for a year, the very best reason to buy from Ford Lincoln of Ocala or